My wife never locked the drawer. That's what made it so strange. It sat there on her side of the bed, our side of the bed always slightly ajar, easy enough for anyone to reach into. And yet, for 11 years, I never did. I never felt the need to until the night I finally had a reason. Emma and we had been married for 11 years. Ours wasn't the dramatic kind of love story you see in movies. It was the steady kind, the quiet kind. We didn't really argue, not in the big shouting match way. We didn't keep score of who did what or who was right or wrong. Our life was built on routines, not on grand surprises. We found comfort in the predictable rhythm of our days, coffee in the morning, a shared look across the dinner table, the quiet hum of the house at night. And that's why the drawer never bothered me. It wasn't some forbidden, locked-away secret. It just existed, a part of the landscape of our bedroom. She kept normal things in there, or so I assumed. A tube of hand cream, a collection of old receipts, maybe a pen that had run out of ink. Things you'd expect to find. I thought this because she never made a point of closing it all the way. It was always cracked open, just a sliver. And she never, not once, told me not to look inside. It wasn't a boundary she drew, it was just her drawer. The night everything shifted, Emma came home late. Later than her usual late. She walked in, and she looked tired, but it wasn't the kind of stressed tired I was used to seeing after a long day at the office. This was different. She looked distant, like she was physically in the room, but her mind was 1,000 miles away. She went straight to bed, barely saying a word. I didn't push. We had our quiet ways, and sometimes that meant giving each other space without asking. I fell asleep, but around 1 in the morning, I was woken up by a soft buzzing sound. Her phone on the nightstand next to me. She was sound asleep, not stirring at all. I reached over, my only intention to silence it so it wouldn't wake her. And that's when I saw it. The screen was lit up. The call was from a number that wasn't saved in her contacts. Just a string of digits. But it wasn't the call that made my heart stop. It was the text message preview right beneath it. 7 words that felt like a punch to the gut. I kept it, just like you asked. I didn't unlock the phone. I didn't read the full message. I didn't shake her awake and demand an explanation. I just lay there, staring at the dark ceiling, my mind racing, replaying those words over and over. I kept it. Just like you asked. What was it? What had she been asked to keep? The sentence felt heavier than it should have, loaded with a meaning I couldn't grasp, but that filled me with a cold, creeping dread. The next morning, the house felt different. Colder. Emma went through her routine as always, but the silence between us wasn't comfortable anymore. It was charged. After she left for work, I found myself standing alone in our bedroom. The silence was deafening. My eyes went straight to the drawer, still there, still open, still waiting. It felt like it was taunting me. This time I didn't hesitate. My hand trembled slightly as I pulled it open the rest of the way. Inside, sitting on top of a jumble of receipts and old chapstick, was a small plain white envelope. There was no name on it. No address, no stamp. It was just folded carefully, as if it held something important. My heart hammered against my ribs. This had to be it. This had to be the secret. I picked it up. It was light, almost weightless, but it felt like the heaviest thing I'd ever held. With unsteady hands, I opened the flap. The envelope held a single photograph. It was old, the colors faded at the edges, the corners soft and worn. It showed a younger version of Emma, maybe from before I knew her. She was standing next to a man I didn't recognize. He was handsome, with the same quiet look in his eyes that I sometimes saw in hers. They weren't holding hands or embracing, but they were close. Standing shoulder to shoulder in a way that spoke of an easy intimacy. It was too close to be nothing. A friend? It didn't feel like just a friend. And behind the photograph, tucked into the fold of the envelope, was a small folded piece of paper. A note. I recognized her handwriting immediately. The same elegant script she used to write our grocery lists. It said, I couldn't leave him behind. The words from the note, the image in the photo, the text from the night before, it all clicked into a terrible, heartbreaking picture. An old love. A secret she was still holding on to. My quiet, steady wife had a whole world I knew nothing about. When Emma came home that evening, the tension in the house was thick enough to cut with a knife. I didn't want to yell. I didn't want to accuse her. The angry, hurt part of me wanted to, but another part, the part that had loved her for 11 years, just wanted to understand. So I didn't say a word. I just took the small white envelope and placed it on the dining table between us. And then I waited. She saw it immediately. Her eyes flickered from the envelope to my face and back again. She sat down slowly, her movements deliberate. She didn't panic. She didn't deny anything. There was no rush of excuses. She just looked at the photo, then at me, and with a quiet sigh that seemed to carry the weight of years, she said, "He was my brother." And then she told me everything. The story poured out of her, not in a flood, but like a slow, steady river of grief she had been holding back for years. She told me about growing up in a house where silence was safer than truth, where difficult things were never spoken about, just buried. She told me about her older brother, the one in the picture, the one who had left home too early and never really came back. She told me about the guilt she had carried for her entire adult life. The guilt of surviving when he didn't. The guilt of living a happy, normal life when his had been cut short. The man in the photo wasn't a secret lover I had to compete with. He was a memory. A piece of her heart she never learned how to put down. The note, "I couldn't leave him behind," wasn't about choosing him over me. It was about her inability to let go of his memory, of her grief. And the text message? The one that had started it all? It was from her cousin, who had found another box of his old things. She had asked her to keep the photo album. That was it. I finally understood. The drawer wasn't hiding something from me. It was holding something for her. Something incredibly fragile. Something unfinished. A private memorial in a place she saw every day. She kept it open because she wasn't ashamed of it. She wasn't trying to conceal it. She just wasn't ready to speak it aloud, to give shape to a pain that had lived inside her for so long. She was keeping it close, not secret. That night we sat on the edge of the bed together, the drawer still open beside us. The photograph lay on the comforter between us. And for the first time in our quiet, steady marriage, I felt like I truly saw her. I understood something vital. Love isn't about knowing every single secret a person has. It isn't about having all the keys to all the locked rooms of their past. It is about creating a space safe enough for them to open the doors themselves when they're ready. It's about knowing when to stop talking and just listen. The drawer is still there, on her side of the bed. It's still open a little. But when I look at it now, it doesn't feel heavy with secrets or suspicion. It feels honest. It's a reminder that we all carry things with us. Some are light and some are heavy. And sometimes the greatest act of love is simply to help someone carry the weight. If this story made you think about the things we all carry quietly, maybe you could follow for more stories like this one. Because some truths aren't hidden. They're just waiting for the right moment to be shared. Thanks for listening.